Welcome to The Localist, a podcast for small business owners where we talk about the highs and lows of building community through entrepreneurship. I'm your host, author of the Localist book and small business consultant, Carrie Rollwagen. The Localist is sponsored by Infomedia. Infomedia is a digital strategy company where I work as senior vice president. At Infomedia, we help small businesses get big results online. Our guests today are Austin Senseman and Robert Hill, who are the co-founders of Caravan. So Caravan is a company who trains people to use AI. And I actually got introduced to Caravan just by hearing from other business owners who had hired them. They take a small group of people. I think they do like 8 to 10 people. And they tell you that they don't want any hostages in the group. They want people who are actually like open to learning. So they actually walk through, like our class was a Claude Code class. So we walked through how to use Claude Code, we actually touched also on Claude Design and Claude Code. And the idea is that after taking this class, your team leaves like feeling like you're in the driver's seat with AI. So we took this class because we wanted to kind of be able to move forward and know that we were all on the same page about AI. And I think it helps a lot for that. Full disclosure, Infomedia also sells this Caravan class to our clients because we wanted to have an option for our clients who wanted to learn about AI. But I also wanted to talk to Austin and Robert about the way they started this business. Like, how did they know that this was a need? How did they go about meeting the need? And we get into all of that. We also really deep dive in the second half about AI itself. We talk about a lot of the ethics behind it and our personal struggles with it too. I think we all were pretty vulnerable on this podcast, myself included. So I hope that is relatable and helpful. And then I also think there's just a lot in the first half about how they built this business and how they're interacting with business owners and with all of us, like staff members, employees who are grappling with this and the things that they've learned from the business and from trainings and things like that. So I'm excited to be able to share this conversation. I hope you find some of it relatable, some of it may be challenging, some of it you might disagree with, but that's what a good podcast is for, right? So I hope you enjoy the conversation as much as I did. Well, I actually wanted to start by kind of going back to the beginning of at least Caravan's journey. You guys' journey with AI probably started before this, but how did you start Caravan? Was it like how did that go from we're going to train a couple of people on how to use this to let's do a whole business, or is that how it started? Like how did this start?
Take it away.
I mean, we went on a big listening tour at the end of last year. So
yeah.
You want to explain that?
Yeah, we met with a lot of small businesses, and we knew that we wanted to create a business together. We didn't know what type of business, what we would do. So we went out to probably like 20 different businesses around Birmingham, and we just asked them a bunch of questions like, what kind of AI products are you using? Where are you falling short? And we found that everybody had a lot of AI anxiety, and they were thinking like, so-and-so across the street has it figured out, and I'm over here still using ChatGPT. What's going on? So everybody felt like they were behind. I don't know who they were like referring to.
The truth is we're all behind. But
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is behind?
Yeah. I mean, depending on sort of who you follow on the internet, you may feel very behind.
Yeah.
I think that's still going on. People have, automated their entire business in 15 minutes with AI.
Yes.
And and you're thinking, okay,
Yeah.
well,
How do I?
I haven't done that yet. I still have people working here. Like,
And-
what's going on?
And at the time, like ChatGPT or the chat interface was the only way to use artificial intelligence. And so you would see these articles like AI is coming for everyone's job or AI can reinvent your business. And people were like, with ChatGPT, how is that possible? So there was a lot of anxiety. There was a lack of clarity. And we didn't have clarity either. We would like get together and we were like, maybe we can build some kind of product or offer some kind of service. And one day you had run a training business before, or, were involved in a training business. And
Right.
Austin was like, I think that I can help business professionals learn how to use Claude Code. And Claude Code was the first agentic platform, meaning an AI platform that can actually do tasks, right? It's like we always say that ChatGPT was like the magic mirror from Shrek,
Snow White,
right? Not Snow White, Shrek.
Yeah,
The one from
okay.
Shrek. The one from Shrek. And then
You don't want the insulting one?
the
AI is kind of the opposite of that.
the agentic platform is like the genie from Aladdin, right? It has hands, it can do stuff for you. So people weren't used to something like Claude Code that can like create a server for you, create a web page for you, create a document for you. So Austin had a smart idea to start teaching that to general professionals, non-technical professionals. And so we launched the class in December of 25, which was perfect timing because like the Wall Street Journal wrote an article, I think that week, that was like Claude Code blowing up for non-technical users. And so it was fantastic. And that demand, we got really busy very quickly.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
Yeah. How did you guys, how did you approach the interviews, like the listening tour? Did you just email people that you knew already, or were you like, this is what we're thinking of doing? Like, how did you hit people up?
Yeah, so I think Robert and I are in a Vistage group together. So that was a great place to start.
Shout out Frank.
Yeah, Frank Day. And from, and I'd also been doing a lot of speaking at Birmingham AI for the last 3 years. So I sort of had a good list of folks who I knew would be willing to sit down. And we bought people lunch. I think that was, key. Robert bought them Saw's barbecue.
Yeah.
So they were, they were ready to talk.
Yeah.
But we just approached it in a very open-ended way. What problems do you have right now? Like, what are you actually doing? And we tried to get the owners of the business in the room to really hear from the people driving. One
of the things that made me feel comfortable with Birmingham and small businesses in Birmingham using artificial intelligence is we were in the rooms with people who would have told us if they were thinking about terminating staff, but that was never brought up. And the one thing that we did here was I just want to help my staff learn how to use the tools that are out there and increase everybody's productivity. We might not do a lot of hiring after that, but it's not like we're going to cut anybody or we want to remove any departments. And it felt nice to see humans sticking up for other humans.
Yeah.
And that's we took that mentality into our brand, or we tried to.
Yeah, because I think our initial ideas were about building things for companies. And the real challenge we had there when we went and talked to people is leaders didn't know what they wanted to build. We heard some good ideas, they had some intuitions, but it wasn't like, let's make a big investment of time and resources to build the thing. And that's when we realized, we need to teach these people how to fish, right? And from there, they can go and explore the tools and figure out what to build for themselves.
Yes.
That was the turning point.
Well, I think that's hugely important, because even if you're not even going to build it yourself, you may even say okay, I could mock this up. I don't really want to. I want something different. Just even understanding how the tools work, I think get you thinking about what's even possible here, because before it was AI just felt like magic, which to some extent it still does, which can be good or bad. But it just the business owners I was talking about originally were kind of just we'll just do something with AI. But it wasn't, they didn't know what it was. It wasn't there's this problem. What we've actually found at Infomedia is we'll have this problem that we've had for years and we could never really attack it. And now with AI, we can attack it.
Yeah, what's an example of something like that? Just curiosity.
Accessibility audits, for example.
Yeah.
For a website. If you're paying for
Great
accessibility.
example to pull out right away.
Well, it's been a huge issue that we had something like an accessibility, I wouldn't say solution, because accessibility, we say, is to be maintained. It's not to be attained.
Okay.
So
you got to pay us every month.
Yeah.
To be...
Well, it's actually it's because users are adding stuff to their site, so it's you can't.
You can easily
request.
Yeah,
right.
The only way you can say this is correct is if you don't change anything. So that's why it's like we can't guarantee that somebody working in your office isn't putting a PDF that's not accessible on your site. But we would have people run reports, and a lot of those reports, they show things that sometimes are problems, but sometimes it's just a red flag. So it might say, I don't see alt text on this image, but actually that image is explained in the caption. Well, either way is accessible. But the report is just going to be like red flag, red flag, red flag, even if it's not correct. So it would take us so long as with humans to go through the actual report that we would have to charge them to look at the report.
Yeah.
And now we can have AI run through the report and be like, okay, we see what we're saying. We see what this is seeing, and this is why it's still okay, you know? So now we can turn those around where it just wasn't worth it to the client either. They don't want to pay us for 5 hours to read a report and be like, it turns out we were right all along.
Yeah, it's pretty accessible.
Yeah. So that's what I think learning how to use AI for taking your class and like experimenting and things like that give you ideas of like, oh, we could use it on this problem. So even if I were hiring somebody to come in and do that, or it's somebody else on our staff that's doing that, you can still have the idea because you understand more what it's capable of.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful insight. I think one thing we tell people right out of the gate in class is that we're not going to solve your problems today. You have a day, you're going to learn a lot. I think the gift we give people is a better sense of what the future is going to be like and what's possible. And then we teach them the tools. So then when you go back to your desk, you can start to move in a direction. Now you understand like what you might be able to do. And then the real work happens
we should talk about
the
first time we did our company training at Hardware Park, what that was like. This is a good story. Yeah.
Let me just start at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think this was the real interesting part. We were leaving for the day. We'd been there all day. We're walking out, and you asked me, you said, hey, I know we're teaching people how to use these AI tools, but do you think we're also doing therapy? That was the question.
Yeah.
And I said yes.
Yeah.
Because, well, what happened?
I think it was the first time we'd already done a public training class, but it was the first time I reckoned with the concept of these agentic tools are tools that can create tools. And in Hardware Park that day, we did a company workshop. And, everybody in Hardware Park as a former like electrical engineer or mechanical engineer, these are pretty technical people. And in the room, we just all had this sort of group realization that work was going to fundamentally change like very rapidly. And one of the guys who's worked out in Seattle and, has worked for Microsoft and Amazon, and a couple of hours into the training, he was just like, oh, this is crazy. This is wild.
Yeah, I had to ask him, like, are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is. One of the things we've been talking about a lot, like in our business, is you oftentimes identify with what you do. So we have people on our staff, for example, like most of our developers, like find a lot of their identity in being a developer or in being a photographer or a writer. Well, I've already gone through that because I'm a writer, but I just manage managers now.
That's an interesting. Like,
it's not writing; it's managing. Right?
You've learned to delegate. You've learned to edit, but like with people.
Right.
And so now you. Yeah. Okay.
And that's also why I think
using
these systems is easier. But I think it's the guy James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits. He has a talk about this where he's talking about like if you identify as say like a soldier, then you're not a soldier anymore. You lose your identity. But if you can find the parts of that, like loyalty, dependability, like strength, like those things, and identify with those things, then you can carry those things forward.
So do you want to come teach a class? This is awesome.
Yeah, this is a bit of my obsession right now.
But it's been like
this topic.
Yeah, it's like talking to our staff about like, okay, yes, you're a developer, but you're also like a systems architect. You're a strategist.
What's
your? Tell us more about your obsession.
Well, I mean, so we had that initial experience in December, and I think I very actively during class talk about certain parts of the class being therapy. And we have this one part of the class where we ask people, and sort of later in the day when they've really started to feel, right, we ask them, let's say it's a couple years from now and AI reliably does 80% of the stuff you do today, like what's left?
Mm-hmm.
And we're asking them to reflect on what's truly valuable about what they bring to their work. And like people don't have clear answers yet, but they're starting to think about it. And they're starting to disassociate a little bit with the tasks and start to associate more with initiative, imagination, judgment, accountability, these other things that are truly the valuable things they do. And we're sort of like, we hope we're kind of starting people on that journey.
Yeah. I think when people get a foothold of like themselves in the future, the reduction in anxiety creates like this openness to the tools. And when we go to a lot of these companies, people are just like very afraid of the future. So I think understanding how you can still contribute in the future that makes a lot of sense. It's a good lesson.
Yeah, and you've been on this journey yourself, it sounds like.
Well, yeah, and I think part of what's interesting for me is even before AI, I was kind of having to do that. Like, I used to own a bookstore, and that was like something that felt so right as far as what I should be doing. And then I sold the store, you know, so having to say like what parts of what's still important about that, what is still me. It was also, I feel like, interesting because this is a tangent, but like every woman I talked to was like, oh, I'm so sorry, which is how I felt. And every man I talked to was like, good, that's what you're supposed to do with a business.
You exited?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, now we respect you more, which was interesting because I hadn't looked at it from that perspective either. But having to, look at that, or also writing hasn't been the most lucrative career in a while, before AI even. So having to kind of transition there, and then also just leveling up at work. And as you're growing in your career, it is very task-based. Like you're usually like, you're the dependable one, you're getting all this stuff done. But then eventually you get to the point where you're actually valued for more like your unique value proposition and not all the tasks you do. And that's a hard transition, even without AI, to say, okay, how do I delegate, support my teams? And like you're saying, like what is still important. So I think it did help, and that it was still a hard transition for me, for sure. But having had to do that in my life before AI made it at least like something I'd at least thought about, read about, that kind of thing. And I like about your class that you do a form, or at least you did with us. So I'm going to say a lot of stuff about your class. You can say if we still do this. But
I think you got the standard option.
Our people got a form, and they did ask some questions about like, I don't think it was like exactly how you feel about AI, but sussing some of that out.
Yeah.
And I think that, and Robert, you did the class, and you know that, but the listeners, I think you did, it was kind of brilliant because you started it out talking about art, your connection to art, why this is important. You were like, here's the elephant in the room. Like, these are built with
stolen data.
Yeah. And it really was.
Stolen.
Yeah.
Do we need to do a data acknowledgement? Is that where this is going?
Yeah.
Is that the
I think this data will also be stolen. So it's
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. But I thought it was really smart because it really diffused a lot of the people coming in. Like, you already say, you tell people don't bring hostages to this event. Like we don't want people who are trapped in here and have to do it. But we had people who were like, they had accepted, like, this is my role. I work at a tech company, whatever, but still just don't like it or have serious ethical problems with it.
Yeah.
So I think it wasn't a long part of the training, but I thought it was really smart to start with that because it's like, we're not pretending this is not the case.
You can take this if you want.
Yeah.
What's that? Take this?
Yeah.
I mean, I have my own stories.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what makes each of us that teach unique is that, it might not surprise you that one of our core values is authenticity. And so people show up like with their own feelings and their own stories and their own journeys of getting here. And like, that's part of teaching is that you sort of are vulnerable with the students in that way, and it sort of draws them into it.
Yeah.
So,
did you guys have experience with teaching or training or before that you're bringing into this?
Austin did, and it shows he's a phenomenal trainer. I did not, And I apologize to everybody who came to my first training session. Austin was very kind at the end. He was like, "That wasn't too bad." I was like,
Robert's
"Oh my God,
way too hard on
so
himself."
bad. Yeah, yeah. It was like, the first 30 minutes, I just like said something that was factually incorrect, and then everybody believed me, and like
you're just like, that was a hallucination.
It'd be like telling everybody to go. There's gonna be a fork in the river. Go to the right. The left is so unsafe, and like to the right is like 80-foot cliff. That's basically what happened. But I've learned through trial and error, and it's been fun. I used to not have a lot of confidence when I trained. I had a really good training in April that kind of set the foundation, and I kind of found my voice. That was very helpful. And
what changed during that time?
Things just went well, and I was like, okay, that a couple of things start to go well, and you're like, okay, like not everything worked.
But what changed? Just like what was different?
Well, it was a private training, and the students were. I'm trying to think what changed. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I can't really think.
Something in the environment or something in between your ears?
Probably environment.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, it's been interesting because, I've been on stage for Birmingham AI for the last 3 years, teaching and sharing. And before that, I taught people data analytics work. So I've been fighting with adult attention spans for a long time now. And so, when the other partners stepped up to train, it was very interesting because there was some amount of anxiety. And the biggest shift, I think, for y'all was this recognition that training is not like a play where you're reading a script. It's much more like an improvisational kind of bit.
You have to feel it.
You have to feel the audience and then sort of be there with them and try to understand what the next thing is that they need to learn to like continue on their journey. And that's, in a way, you have to sort of relax and let it happen.
Yeah.
But if you show up and you're like, I need to make sure I say this, this,
yes.
then you're hosed, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be
you will turn a mistake into a learning moment. And I think my first time when a mistake would happen, I would freeze and be like, "Oh, this is a mistake."
Yeah.
We don't have mistakes happen,
Yeah, and then you're like, then you're approaching a lot of anxiety.
Oh yeah, then you have anxiety.
Oh.
And and then you start everything starts like getting really fast, and you're like not reacting properly, and you're like have heightened anxiety, and you're like going around and like trying to fix everybody's problems. It was a mess. So
I mean, I get it. So I'm like pretty introverted, but I do a lot of trainings too, and it's a lot. Well, but I also think that approach, first of all, makes sense no matter what you're training, but particularly I would think for what you're training, because like my boss at Infomedia for 2 years has been like, we need to train people, and I'm like, how do we even do this? Like this is you're gonna prep a training, and then it's like, oh, it changed last night. Surprise.
Right.
Right.
Other than kind of like approaching the training as improv, like how do you deal with that? The fact that these tools are changing, you don't know. Sometimes like Anthropic doesn't even know, or OpenAI doesn't even know.
We have a great team who like will, because they're interested in the topic. If a new feature comes out on a Friday night, they're going to stay up on Friday night and use it. That's not like a requirement to work at Caravan. It's just what happens.
We change the curriculum we change the curriculum every week.
Okay.
We sit down and have a meeting.
Yeah.
And say what changed last week from like stuff that happened in the classroom to new products or features.
Yeah.
And the whole training team sits down together and talks about it, and then we.
Yeah.
But it's like it's that fast.
Is that exciting, exhausting, both?
I think for now it's fun.
Yeah.
It can be exhausting. It can be exhausting keeping up with the new tools. I mean, they come so fast, and you want to at least have tried out a couple of features before class before you show it off.
Yeah.
Although you will live demo a new feature without even using it before in front of a class. Like, let's figure this out together.
Yeah. So why do you think I do that?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's good. It's a good question.
I mean, they're going to have to do that.
They're going to have to do it too. They're going to have to do it too. And to show you sort of fumble through something, I think is good for them to see.
I mean, you even did that to some extent. Like something was weird, and you're like, "Well, let's ask it. Why are you doing that?
Let's find out." Yeah, it's a time to be it's a good time to be a curious person.
Yeah,
and sort of be willing to kind of be a beginner.
And it teaches people that is what you have to do. I mean, for a while, cowork kept throwing up errors whenever I was building a skill, and I would just copy paste it. Like, this is the error. It's like, okay. But it just does stuff like that. And we're not used to software doing that, which it's not really that. But, like, so I think doing that in a class, like, either way, is also teaching people, like, this is also going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, like, it's going to be buggy, and half the time you can just ask it, why are you doing this? Or it's like, I can't build a skill in cowork. I'm like, I think you can. It's like, oh, yeah, I can. So those kinds of things, they actually feel like learning moments to the students, I think.
That's how it feels to me. I think people believe that they need the instructions to a Lego set, and they're going to put the Lego set together, and it's more of like growing a plant or something. There's something sort of organic about it. It's not a human that you're interacting with, but it sort of has the contours of it where it needs to learn about you, and it needs to be onboarded, and it needs feedback, and these are these like human-like sort of interactions.
Well, that's what really clicked with me. It was in Anthropic training, actually, where she was talking about, like, these are management skills. And I feel like I was kind of getting that, but even just, like, that's kind of what unlocked, like, understanding things better for me. Is like, okay, I know how to delegate. I know how to write instructions for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I've also found, like, that's kind of a difference between people who are pretty good at building skills out of the gate and who aren't. They also tend to be the people who are already good at delegating, or the people who are like, we have somebody she's fantastic at her job, but when she writes instructions or a skill, she wants to like solve for everything that could possibly happen.
Yeah,
it's like, this is not, but it's
Right.
also a problem if you delegate something that way, like that's not how you train a person either. So that's been helpful to me. Like, we have a training coming up, like a free Localist lab that's basically like, if you can write instructions, you can build a skill.
I love it.
But the trick is actually, the talk is going to be on writing instructions.
If you could write instructions,
Yeah.
would be the first
It's
part.
going to be like,
How do you do it?
here's actually how you write instructions.
Yeah.
So that's been like a key for me, that even though I do work at a tech company, this doesn't seem like a tech skill. It's more like a management skill, and I think that makes it more accessible for people.
Yeah, agreed.
So we have mentioned Birmingham AI a couple of times. I don't want to get too far in the weeds with it, but if people are listening, because they may know you from that, so can you explain, like, what is that? What's the difference, and how does that work with Caravan, or is it alongside, or neither?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. How does it work?
Yeah.
How does it work? I mean, Birmingham AI is a nonprofit that I help run with Will Blackburn, and we turned 3 years old in June. And so, I mean, the quick lore is this was like an Eventbrite with some pizza at Innovation Depot in June of 2023. Like, ChatGPT had been out for not that long, and 70 people showed up, and we just kind of kept doing it. And so I think of that as my community service. It's free. We feed people lunch and teach them about AI, and about 1,000 people come and do that with us every month. So it's just been a joy to work on that.
I mean, I do think it does. I don't think it's that no other city has this, but I don't think from the limited research I've done, it doesn't seem like this is totally normal in a city, that there is, because it does seem like everybody I talk to in whatever business, if they've interacted with AI at all and they want to learn more, they've been to like the one
So
of your sessions.
I should have a disclaimer that I'm not involved
Yeah.
and have not been asked back ever since my first talk.
It's a fantastic talk.
Yeah, but one of the things you've said before is like there was no model for Birmingham AI, and so
I think that's right.
you were like, let's make the model.
Let's make the model.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we were thinking that far ahead.
Right,
I
right.
think it's more. I think when we talk about big initiatives in Birmingham, what we generally have done in the past is to try to find something in another city that we feel has worked there.
We fly the city council out to Denver. And
That's right.
They come
And,
back.
this
and
worked.
it's like,
This
goes
worked
off to a
in this
committee.
worked in this place,
Uh-huh.
and so let's do it here. It's been de-risked.
Yeah.
And the reality is, it worked in that place for reasons that are all their own, and they actually had to like.
And then, by like 3 years later, when they like actually start working on it,
Yeah.
it's way too late.
Yeah, and so I've sort of watched that dynamic for a while, and I think a lot of our programming is like that. And so I didn't really have that front of mind. Will and I were just following our curiosity.
Yeah.
And so we ended up creating something. I mean, in true sense, like it was a creative act. And so now people are saying, oh, well, where did you model this off of? And like, I don't even have an answer to that question, right? If there are good ideas in other places, I want to use them, but that's just not how we were thinking about it at all. So we kind of just wandered into it in a way.
Yeah.
And if you're doing what other cities are doing, you never get ahead. The best you can do is sort of catch up, but that's hard too. And so like, if we want Birmingham to grow and really get ahead on some dimension, we have to do things that are totally new, and we have to have other cities looking at us and saying, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Have other cities reached out to you, or other groups?
Yeah, I've talked to groups. I'll be in Houston. Well, I guess we'll both be in Houston this week. I'm going to meet with one of the Houston AI guys there.
Okay.
Tomorrow. So it's fun to sort of see the energy in other places.
It seems like, just from doing a little bit of research online, a lot of the groups have the problem where only technical people show up. And that's what y'all have been able to do, is make it very approachable for just everyday people.
Yeah, that was just one of the decisions we made early on. This was for everybody.
Yeah. So how does that, is it beneficial to have both? Is it awkward to have both, like Caravan and Birmingham AI?
Can be a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done a really...
I actually hate it.
No.
Well, I mean,
no, good for him. I mean,
it is confusing. In any given meeting, sometimes people are like, which meeting is this?
Yes.
Is this a Caravan meeting?
I'll have people take me out to lunch, and they'll say, hey, listen, at the end of the lunch, when it's time, like in the parking lot, when people tell you why they wanted to take you out to lunch, and they'll be like, how do I speak at Birmingham AI? And I'm like, I don't know. If you find out, you tell me.
There could be nothing simpler to do. Look, I think it's helpful. I think we've done a good job at Birmingham AI of not making it about people's like commercial interests. So we have 30 breakout leaders that run all of these other events that we do, and I think people's sort of hearts are in it for the right reason. It's a mission-centered organization to just make this a positive thing for Birmingham.
Yeah.
I think we've done a good job there.
I thought it was interesting. It was actually a Birmingham AI, I think, sponsored event at the Alabama Theater to kick off SLOS Tech. Austin, you were showing kind of like toward the end of last year, there was like kind of positive feelings about AI. Yeah. And the coming into 2026 and like as we progressed, it's very much not that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How does that impact the business, and also how does that impact you personally?
Most of the times you see me on stage, I say it in class, I say it in front of a group of people, that I don't want to be seen as an AI hype person. I think a lot of great things are going to happen. I think a lot of challenging things are going to happen for people, and the mission of Caravan is to help people navigate challenging times. Like, that's the core of our business. Right now, that's AI. When people are sitting in front of their computers and doing work, like, everyone who does that's going to have to go through some kind of transition. And so, if you've thought about this a lot and you absolutely hate it, like, I'm totally fine with that, right? I'm concerned about people that just aren't very engaged.
Yeah,
so
that's
the challenging group.
Yeah, I wanted to ask because even in my position, it's like most of my career is being a writer. Now I'm running a business. It's a tech business, so it is awkward because I was like, okay, well, I either need to say like I'm okay engaging with this and move forward, or I need to quit my job. Like, I can't run a web development business and pretend this doesn't exist. Like, people's jobs depend on me not doing that. Yeah. But it has been a lot of backlash against people I care about, friends, like, because most of my career was in either being an artist or being a journalist. So it's very different. And most of the people who, at least like in my social media feeds, who care about that are very much against this. So like I even started a Substack that I'm not really promoting too much, but it's really just for me to be able to write like I know they're probably not gonna read these essays, but at least like I put it out there.
The AI will know that you wrote them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, AI has also taken the Localist stuff, which I actually kind of love. Like, my book is on the list of stuff. But it's like, in that case, I mean, I do like that it has information about why it's important to buy local.
Have you ever heard that Curtis Mayfield song, If There's a what is it? If there's a hell, we're all going.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interested in what you say next.
Yeah.
We all participate in this society of consumption. Like, if you scroll social media and you go through a couple of ads, the amount of energy that it took to serve you that ad is comparable to a prompt. If you have a phone, like, if you want to really reckon with your consumption, you should see like the age of the people who got the got the materials to make the battery.
The
Lithium.
the metals,
Yeah.
the factories, and
With your clothing, like, what were the factory conditions? How many African American neighborhoods did the interstate go right through? Rosewood is a great example in Homewood, or Rosedale. So I feel like the people fear for their future, and artificial intelligence is this symbol of this tech bro future. I think, I don't want to speak for you, but I kind of feel like we might feel the same way, in that, to me, artificial intelligence helps me spend less time on the computer consuming, like, my feed. And it gives me more time to spend, like, going on walks or hanging out, because I can, what used to take me 3 hours to run an analysis on a website, now, something else does that for me and shoots me back the answer. I think that when social media came out, like let's call it, 2006 to 2010, the vibe was so good that when the majority adopted social media, like, everybody was benevolently taking it on. Can you say that? How does that go? Where they were like in total embrace
they're optimistic about it.
of social media, and then, like, look what happened. Artificial intelligence has the, like, hangover from that social media spill out. It's tough to navigate as, like, a media professional, because I can't change anyone's mind. The class can help, but people have to find that themselves. I think that it's a national security technology, so like, no matter what we do, I feel like we can't stop it.
I mean, that's a little bit of my thoughts, and I definitely want to hear yours too. But this is a hard one for me because, I mean, like, all the things you're talking about, part of what I've spent so much time in the buy local, I don't know if it's even a movement. It has to be lots of people to do that. But part of the reason I care about that is because, like, more money in your communities is beneficial. Buying locally made is better for the environment, better for people, etc. But the Localist brand even started with me doing, like, a year-long project where I only bought local, which was cool and interesting, and I wrote a book about it. But it wasn't something that is going to be, like, super attainable for most people. And now I'm more like, the best way, this is cheesy, but, like, the best way to be a localist is to buy local-ish, because it's kind of better to prioritize it some places. You're actually doing more good than if you try to go cold turkey and then don't do it after a month, And to some extent, that's kind of weirdly a little bit how I look at this. Like, I kind of grapple with, like, well, did I used to care about things? And I was, I was, like, willing to give things up. And now I'm, like, engaging with this. But for me, this is something where I feel like if I don't engage with it, I can't be part of the conversation at all. And then it's just leaving the conversation to the people who are purely pro.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well said.
Well, thanks. You guys are my best guests. You're my most complimentary.
Oh.
But I also think, because this also moves so quickly, because there's such big issues, I have to know that I'm making those mistakes, like the training, like, but in life, like, I am going to choose some things now that probably in 6 months I'm like, I wish I hadn't used it for this or whatever. And that is scary for me, because I like to think things through first and do everything correct. But I think with the way this is moving, I think if you're doing that, you're just separating yourself out from the conversation.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of people are, we are not tech bros trying to sell the product. We're trying to help people learn how to
Which is
wrestle
an
with their future.
interesting difference for sure.
I also think people need to be aware. 27, it's going to get weird in 27. We're
Here we go.
all right.
In the class too,
Getting
you're
spicy.
like, yeah.
we're not used to artificial intelligence or a teenage hacker being able to shut down a grid. But I think we're getting pretty close to that kind of technology being out in the market, and that's going to be really scary. And I think that's going to do a lot of reputational damage to the technology as well.
Which isn't in a great spot right now. But
Yeah.
how do you guys see yourselves and Caravan in that? Like, how do you grapple with that? I mean, is it a temptation to just be like, I'm just going to not use, like, it doesn't seem like you're like, I'm just not going to use this at all. Do you think it's more useful to teach people to use it? Like, how do you reconcile the two? To be like, this is very, very dangerous, but I'm teaching people to use it.
Yeah, so
You're not teaching
electricity.
You're not teaching teenage hackers, I will say.
Not that we know.
No, they'll figure it out
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
They don't need us. I'm also the Claude Ambassador for Birmingham, and so that's a volunteer role. And I think part of why I did that is, accepted that role is, I feel most attuned to the way Anthropic talks about these issues, and their mission is to help transition us to a world where AI benefits humanity. I think that sounds good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here for that. And like, what does that actually mean in people's lives? I try to collect stories here, and like one of them is my friend Ralph, who lives here. His dad's a pastor, and he told me he was hunting with his brother and his dad earlier this year, and his dad told them that he used AI to help write his sermons. And they were like a little surprised by this because at Thanksgiving dinner, earlier he was sort of keeping to himself while the family was arguing about all this. So they were like surprised to hear this.
Yeah.
But what he told him was that it saves him 3 or 4 hours every week, and he spends that time like visiting another person in hospice or ministering to his congregation in a very like human kind of way. And he told them, that's really my job, and so this thing helps me like do more of those parts of my job. And I would encourage people to like try to take that story into your own life and think about how we could use these tools to enable us in that way. And I think a lot of people that are upset about what's going on don't have a positive reference point in their own life for how this has helped them solve a problem they have. And not that just sort of makes all that anxiety go away, but it at least starts to frame it up in a more balanced perspective where you see that maybe it's not all bad. We talk about electricity a lot in this context. We don't have a good analogy for what's going on right now, but we do have these great newspaper cartoons from the 1920s, like portraying electricity as the untamed demon, right? The unrestrained demon. It was invisible. It was killing people. It was going to change people's jobs. It was like, it honestly was scary to people, and we just take it for granted that 100 years ago that was like a controversial thing that was happening.
Well, and even that, it's not like those things didn't happen. Like we actually had a conversation about electricity in this context.
Yeah.
I think in a bookstore, which both of us still go to bookstores.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? That's so funny.
And I was actually watching the show Victoria and thinking about like there was so much change there, electricity, railroads, all of these things, and people were so frightened that bad things would come of this, and they have. Like that wasn't like. It's not that that's completely untrue. That's what I want to, like, when I think sometimes when people hear electricity, they're like, well, this is different because these bad things really are happening. And I'm like, yeah, they are. And that was also happening. Bad things came from railroads and electricity too. But we also, like, live with them, accept them, think they were, most people would probably think they were like a net good. So it is, I don't know.
It feels like the secondary effects are what people are kind of scared of, and that's impossible to predict, right? You would never predict the steam engine would jumpstart wealth inequality in a massive way. So it's kind of hard to predict those secondary effects with artificial intelligence. Although wealth inequality seems like that's going to be right up there with them.
But it also, I don't know. This is probably like my personal worldview, but I haven't seen humanity back down from a technology just because it was going to destroy us ever. So I don't. Sorry, I didn't mean to go here with this. I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen here either. So if that's the case, what are my choices here? Yeah. I can be part of guiding it into hopefully a path that's not going to be that. Yeah. Or I can say that I'm not going to be a part of this, but there are going to be a lot of bad actors who are.
Do you have a stopping point, like for how far you'll go to collaborate with artificial intelligence? For example, would you have something in your head that like allowed AI to communicate with your brain?
I don't think
Would
so.
you like to go on the record on this topic?
You wouldn't like that?
I mean, I don't know. Like I think a lot of the things we consider normal probably wouldn't have felt normal a while ago. Does it make me happy to think of something in my brain? Not really. But I'm also somebody who uses a lot of paper still. Like I use a lot of AI, but I also read a lot of paper books. I write on paper. And when I'm working on my own writing, I typically am not using AI. Like not always. And I actually disclose that. Like even in the Substack, I have a little disclosure. This is what I used it. Yeah.
I do as well.
Yeah, which I think is really helpful. But yeah, I don't.
Also
so I don't
seems
know
like
if
the
it's
right
for
thing
me
to do to like give this other, intellectual entity credit.
Yeah, yeah. Or even like I'm writing about using AI, so I think I think it would be relevant. Like, which of these ideas were mine? Did I come up with my ideas from AI? Did I like? Yeah. But the lines for that I have in my own work and the lines I have at like Infomedia or even in the podcast are different. So I don't know.
I'll wear
about
the chip when I'm
implant. Yeah.
What about you? Would you get chipped up? I know you would.
I have no plans to get chipped up currently.
I mean,
but I mean, look, we're gonna,
we're cyborgs already. I'm wearing contacts.
Like Neuralink, like some of the first applications they're trying to do are like, helping people who are paralyzed, and like soft spinal cord injuries. They're gonna like start working on blindness. They're gonna start. And it's like, I think, the hardest thing to talk about in all this for me is the positive things that might happen. Right? Because it kind of sounds like breathless hype a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you were someone who lived in rural Alabama in 1920 and electricity was coming to your town, yes, that would be scary and all that. Maybe you could articulate that you wouldn't have to get water from the well every day, or you wouldn't have to wash your clothes by hand. But if someone showed up in 1920 and described the internet to you and like all these other things, they'd lock you up. You'd sound completely insane. And so we're at this precipice where this technology could help with a lot of things, especially like medicine, health, and science, and all these areas. But it's just hard to talk about because it's like we don't have flying cars.
Demis
like
Hassabis,
as an analogy, right? So
Demis Hassabis, who created DeepMind and was one of the very first, I guess, intellectual titans working on AI in the 2010s. He did not want to release it to the public and wanted to just keep it, in an academic sense, make it public, but kind of keep the for-profit work inside of Google and just focus on medicine and science. There are like plenty of people who don't want to take advantage of people's attention with these tools, and like I just think science is an area where you can look at artificial intelligence and say like there are immediate benefits if we keep investing here.
Well,
ads. Yeah. Better ads. Everybody needs better ads. Highly targeted.
I needle you this all the time. Don't you want better ads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were saying you align with Anthropic, I aline with Meta.
Yeah.
I say. Mark Zuckerberg posted a long post yesterday about AI, and I've been a Facebook for a long time. I think there's like AI slop where like AI produces something that's sort of just mid in every dimension, right? But then there's some version of like a sort of a hollowed out human that also writes something, and you're like, oh, you're an AI pretending to be a human, and you wrote this thing, and it just rings hollow, right? I mean, they're still talking about how Facebook is like brings the world together and makes it, and you're like, wow, y'all are still on that message.
The only reason why people use
y'all
Facebook
haven't bounced off
are
that
because of Facebook
Marketplace.
Marketplace.
They're trying to sell their couch.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
it's
why
not.
has Facebook not created a jobs feature? Facebook could easily create a jobs feature inside of that platform and just.
I mean, and then contradict everything that's happening with.
Yeah.
You're losing your job. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring it back around because we do need to wrap up.
Yeah.
What time is it? Oh, wow.
Time to wrap up.
Look at us.
Yeah.
We can yap.
There's a lot here, but for people listening, I think with Birmingham AI, you've already said it's pretty easy. You just find the session and go. Tell people how to interact with Caravan, like how to
go to Beyond AI Training's website, and you can interact with our website.
Wait, what are you talking about?
There's this one guy who's he's in Mobile, and you should please include this in the podcast. He's literally just stolen our website. It's like word for word and section for section our website. So it is
a little less expensive though. So if you're willing to drive to Mobile, you could
so
save yourself
if you want to get Caravan training, Beyond Training's website, I think just Google Beyond AI Training.
It's such an interesting time because like the cost of producing something like that goes to zero, but like that's not the valuable thing, right? The valuable thing is the work we do, and like sort of, and you can't just like
also
that.
You have to when you try to rip off someone's intellectual property, you have to.
I didn't really see it as like our intellectual property. I mean, you as someone who writes content, I'm sorry. I probably should.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to lie to the AIs because they don't want to do that. So I'm like very interested in the prompts that
Robert, I have told
used.
you to like launch a prompt injection against this person and put all kinds of stuff in our like hidden in our website where if he tries to clone it
directly.
Yeah, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like put all of like make all of his hyperlinks actually point to us in some way, but it's not obvious.
That's
like
a good
whatever.
one.
Like
Yeah.
there could be 100 things to do.
Anyway,
she asked how people could give us money.
Yeah. So
we're local.
Yeah. You just Google Caravan AI training or AI workshops.
We'll put a link in the show notes also.
Yeah.
Because I do think that's like I do think it's extremely helpful for business owners to be able to say, like, that was helpful for us that I could say, I actually trust this group and we're going to get something out of it. Because I had heard from other people who took the class, and then we talked a little bit, and I think you said something like this earlier, but I think what you told us is like you'll feel like you're in the driver's seat after, and I think that was a good analogy because it's not like you're telling us where to go, where to drive, but I think that's true. Like before, you're just kind of like, what is even going on here, and after you and all your staff that take it are kind of like, okay, I at least get it. I know where to start now, and I think that's a really valuable thing to offer. And you do have to keep doing the fact like that wouldn't work, especially in a market as small as Birmingham, if they weren't good trainings. You know?
Oh, thank you.
Like people would start talking about that. Well, I mean, thank you.
Yeah, well, they would talk about it either way, but they may not say nice things. I mean, for people,
I just wouldn't have invited you on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We just wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't have said bad
right
job.
now.
I just would have been like, nice.
Well, we hope you would have
talk.
said
Thank you for lending us your credibility in this context. I mean, for people that are, I think it's reframing or just emphasizing what you were saying is like for people that are feeling very negative about this right now, I think there is this perception that it's just happening to them. And we talk about this a lot at Birmingham AI, where it's like you don't have a lot of control of what's going on right now. There's this bad thing is happening to you. You don't have a lot of agency in it, right? And like that feeling of being in the driver's seat is like, oh, maybe this is happening for me in some way, even if it's some small way to start.
I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah, and so because then your whole outlook starts to change. You can even still be against it and feel like it's happening for you because you find some meaning in like articulating what are the human things that you value like over the AI. So there's that tension there, but that's when I say I want people engaged, and I don't care if they're for it or against it. It's just that, right? Are you standing up for something, whether it's like AI in the future or humans in the future or whatever, or are you just sort of angry?
Yeah.
But a lot of people have found their emotional home in anger, and that's hard. And like a class isn't gonna change that. But for people that are open to feeling the future a little differently, it's helpful.
And I think like our message to business owners or business leaders is still like, if you feel like you're a little bit behind in some way and you're not using the tools to, improve some part of your operations, contact us and we'd love to help.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for
having us. I feel like you should start a podcast.
We'd love to.
Yeah.
If we were in the same room for for a couple hours every week, we'd
not
try.
To be in the same room for a podcast. Yeah. Plenty of people do that.
The two of us
we
probably
could just
need to
do the phone call thing.
Oh my gosh.
we should get some
old landline phones.
Dude, that's
it could just be a video of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the phone.
It's really interesting.
Well, again, we'll put all the links in the show notes that people need. But thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks,
this
Carrie.
is great.
Thanks for having us.
This is so much fun. We're going to be returning guests, right?
Thank you. I mean, if you want to be. If you're in Birmingham and want a live version of the Localist podcast, join us at Localist Lab. We have this on the third Thursday of every month, so we're actually having one this week. And I talked about this in the podcast, but I'm going to be talking about how to build a skill. So I think the title is like, if you can write instructions, you can build a skill. This is going to be kind of platform agnostic. So if you use Claude, if you use ChatGPT, if you use Gemini, there are going to be principles that apply across the board. This is a free training, and we have free Ladybird tacos from our sponsor and free coffee. I'll be there because I'm speaking. Of course, I'll be there. So I'd love to meet you, and I hope that there's stuff in here to learn. I'm really excited about this training, and I can't wait to share it. So I hope to see you at Localist Lab. The Localist podcast is written and produced by me, Carrie Rollwagen. Our showrunner is Taylor Davis. Our outreach manager is Hannah Cragen. And Paul Bryant is our engineer in the studio with us today. I did want to say another thank you to Infomedia for sponsoring the podcast and making everything we do here possible. And until next time, whether you're buying from a local business or running one, thanks for all you do to make our community stronger every day.